Claire, I want to talk about the grad dip program. So I understand that the university offers these 1 year graduate diploma programs in ECE, primary, and secondary.
Yep.
Tell me what sort of students are, what are the entry requirements if somebody doesn't have the same background, but they are aspiring to become, say, a primary, secondary, or an early childhood teacher? How does it fit into the entry requirements for those three courses, please?
Okay, so I guess I'll talk broadly about kind of applying for teaching, and then I'll talk into the sector specific stuff. So when you're applying to go into an undergraduate diploma of teaching, you obviously need to have a degree. That's the first requirement, or an equivalency. And then really it's about looking at the applicant's personal statement about why they wanted to go into teaching, what are their interests in teaching, what experiences have they had with young people. And really kind of getting a sense of their disposition to teach. So are they the sort of person who relates well with, young people and has got, a good kind of ethical stance around why they're interested in teaching, and an understanding too, I guess, of some of the complexities of the classroom. For ECE, again, we're probably looking a bit more about experiences with much smaller children, and because that can be quite a different setting. So, do they have children of their own? Have they worked with smaller children? In primary, it tends to be a bit broader, because primary qualification will allow you to teach from sort of year 1 to 10. So it's quite a broad spectrum. So there and it doesn't really, and again, in terms of the degree, we're not worried about the subject area of the degree for primary or ECE. It's just giving evidence of that kind of academic ability, and obviously kind of a wealth of background knowledge about the world. When you're moving into secondary, it will be a bit more dependent on a subject that we have teachers, we need teachers for in New Zealand. So we'll be looking at the transcript in terms of what might be the area of particular expertise. For example, if they were a maths degree and they've got lots of maths, 300 level maths papers, that might be an easy one. But we do assess that when the application comes in, so we can advise then around what subjects might be suitable for them.
Thank you. That sort of gives a really good start, like all reps start into this. But if I understand this correctly, so if someone is looking at starting off as a teacher, they haven't
Yep.
really taught previously, the EC and the primary sectors would be the ones that they would possibly look at. Am I right with the grad dip programs?
If you have a specific passion for a subject discipline or a learning area, and you've got the qualification in that, then you might wish to teach at secondary. But if you're more just interested in teaching and you don't have a particular, then yeah, probably primary or ECE would be best.
So if someone is looking at that January intake starting, what do they need to do? Do they need to do the NZQ assessment? Do they need to have their IELTS, like the English scores? Can you just talk to us about it? And then maybe Tanya, you can tell us what sort of English tests are acceptable.
Yeah, so as far as I'm aware, in terms of having their transcript assessed for equivalency, that's something that's done at the central office at the university. So I don't, in terms of it being ratified by NZQA, that's obviously very helpful, because it does it initially and straight off the bat, but I don't think it's a requirement that we have that done. I think that's a requirement for teacher registration. It would obviously make that process a lot smoother, but we can do that here in terms of verifying that qualification. The English language requirement we do need to have, obviously, because just from a learning point of view within the course, to ensure that the student has the capacity. And again, it's a requirement for registration. We do realise that sometimes those things are tricky to organise in time. And so there can be a bit of a leeway around that if necessary, and we've done that in previous. It is a requirement, but we can get people coming in and get a special exemption if need be, to give a bit more space for that. You can also, with the PTE and the IELTS, if you've done one test and you've not passed in one section of that, you can do another test and then put the two test scores together.
Based of two, you can.
Yeah. In terms of what else you need to send in for the application, so it's the qualification material. We'll ask you for 2 referees, and then that's sent out automatically through the system to get those referees in. We would have a personal statement, so we ask applicants to write a page or so about why they're interested in being a teacher and some of their background and that kind of thing. And then we would do an interview. At the moment, we are interviewing. Ideally, we obviously need 2 referees, but we will interview with 1 because we appreciate, again, time. Sometimes it doesn't all come together at the right time for everyone. And we're doing a lot of those via Zoom as well for people who are outside of Hamilton.
Thank you. Tanya, so what Claire has talked about the courses and you can club them. So is there a range of courses that are available that students can do? Where can they find that information?
Do you mean for the English language? Yeah. So we do accept quite a few. We accept obviously IELTS and TOEFL, PTE. There's quite a lot of other tests that we accept, and it's probably a little bit too much information for this session here, but I can certainly send you across the website where you can refer to that.
You can post the link, guys, on just underneath the video, so you can go and have a look at it.
Great. Yeah. The other thing I'll probably just mention is when a student comes to you to apply for this program, and you're helping them with the application, there is a supplementary form, and that's actually part of our general application now. So when the student selects, or when you select the graduate diploma in teaching or PG diploma in teaching, the supplementary form will come up. So it's not a separate document that you need to provide anymore. So that's quite a streamlined process now.
Thank you.